Do it. Let's do it. All right. So I'm Sean Amaral. I am the productivity coach and market center tech trainer here at KW Coastal in Rhode Island. Um, and we got Casey with us.
Uh,
Casey.
Casey McKinnon, team leader over at Keller Williams Easton and Canton. And I'll be on the moderator. So hang out with you guys in the chats.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So tonight we're going to do it's session 13. So thank you all for hanging in there and pouring into this. 2 hours every night is quite a lot. So glad you're all here tonight. We're gonna go through how you qualify potential buyers and sellers. Qualifying is really a key component to getting to business quickly, right? You don't want to be wasting your time with people that aren't ready, willing, and able to transact business, correct? Right? Would you agree? Yeah. All right. Good. All right, so let's get into it. Of course, we have to talk about our TCPA compliance, right? So we want to make sure whatever we're doing to contact our potential clients, we're doing it in a TCPA compliant manner. Fair housing, you guys are very familiar with this stuff, right? We just want to make sure we're all doing the right thing for our clients. So here's what we're going to do tonight. We are in the lead follow-up section. This is the last module. We're on section 13, qualifying potential buyers and sellers. And here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about finding the motivated, right? Finding the motivated people. We're going to classify them by their be able, ready, and willing to transact business. We're going to qualify buyers and sellers. We're going to do some recaps and ahas, and then we're going to talk about your daily success system. All right, that's what all the stuff we're going to cover tonight. So, who would like to read this quote? Do I have a volunteer out there? This is the interactive part of the evening.
I can try to read it if the kid doesn't interrupt. Your number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers.
There you go. Thanks, Brett. So what does that mean to you guys? Any of you? So there's a period in time, right, where um someone decides that they're going to either buy or sell real estate, right? They make that decision, and then we have to get in their path. We have to be right there when they're ready, right? Have you heard the term the fortune is in the follow-up? Yes. So that's the most important part of our job is, I guess on average, people move every 7 to 8 years, right? And our job as realtors is to be there when they're ready to do their business, right? So we have to stay top of mind, and we got to get in their path, right? So that's essentially what this quote is talking about. Anybody else have any other opinion on that or insight? I probably should have said this earlier, but I am a very interactive type of coach. So feel free to talk at any time. You don't want to hear me just talk for 2 hours straight, I'm sure. All right.
Right. If these are the same folks on last night, they heard me call them out, leave a couple uncomfortable silences for a bit. So we're expecting it from you all tonight.
Awesome. Okay. All right, so let's go through some myth understandings, right? So what myths do you hold? Does anyone hold any myths about finding buyers and sellers? And if not, I will share one of the things I learned when I first got into the business, which was I had a really big fear of talking to people that I knew, my sphere, right? Which is completely opposite of what you should be doing, meaning the people that you know, that I don't know, your coworkers, people you run into every day, your friends, your family, people that actually know you are probably the ones that trust you more than a stranger, correct? Would you agree with me on that? Right? And so
Yes.
my myth understanding was that I felt like I was going to be the sales guy, right? All Sean wants is your business, right? I want to help you buy something, I want to help you sell something. Huge missed opportunity for me. I didn't talk to my sphere about real estate for well over a year. Imagine that. Missed opportunity. And then I'll tell you what the light bulb was for me was I had a friend of mine who opened a business, kind of like I did, right? They went out and opened their own business. They were doing gutters and insulation and a few other things, right? Which was parallel to my business, right? And I was so excited for him. And then he asked me, he goes, "Do you think you could help me? Like if you come across an opportunity, do you think you could help me?" I was like, "Heck yeah." Right. And then I thought, why haven't I been doing this? Crazy, right? It was such an easy conversation. And I didn't even think he was selling anything to me. I was just trying to be helpful, you know? So that was my big myth understanding, you know, and if I guess I could have got there quicker if I went to my sphere first. I was cold calling, I was knocking on doors, I was doing all the stuff, and but I wasn't talking to my sphere, so big miss on my part. Anyone else have any misunderstandings or myth understandings about finding buyers or sellers?
Ron, I would want to back up what you just said there. I was in the exact same boat when I first started out. I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to sound too salesy. I don't want anything like that. And it's one of those things that once you kind of lose that fear, you realize everyone else is doing it already every day.
Exactly right.
Or the fear of not being able to answer a question right away. But like we talked about last night, that could be an opportunity to then get contact information and get back to them. So that was one of my fears until we had that conversation last night.
You're never going to know everything unless you're me and pretend you do.
I guess I can speak up. One of my fears is, or one of my myths, I should say, is, well, everyone already has a trusted real estate agent that they go to. So I'm not going to talk to my sphere because, you know, they already have real estate agents and I need to find leads elsewhere.
One good way to think of that, Crystal, is someone could be going to the same mechanic for their car for the past 10 years. They referred it to their friends, family, everything like that. They bring it in once and they really screw them over on some tires or something like that. Guess what? They no longer have a trusted mechanic that they're going to refer to other people. They're going to find someone different.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, and a lot of times, and we're going to see these statistics later on in the presentation, but a lot of times, so clients want to do business with the agent they did transaction with before, but most agents don't follow up with their people, and clients forget about them, even though you think they may have a realtor, they really do not. Because if you ask them, "Who's your realtor?" they may not even know their name.
If you're at an open house and you're helping people sign in, oh, who's your realtor? What was their name again? What was that? Ah, that should be a big little like get the hair in the back of your head standing up, because now you might have an unrepresented buyer because they might know someone, it's their family friend, but they're not there with them. They're not there helping them at the moment. They can't even remember their name.
Mm-hmm. And if you've not heard this before, you will. Real estate is a contact sport, right? Meaning you need to be contacting people and having conversations with them. And that was the other thing I learned was that instead of thinking about the sales part of it, just come from contribution, have natural conversations, offer them help, offer them guidance, and you'll be the person they think of when they're ready to go, right? Anyone else have any myth understandings? That's such a hard word to say. All right, so let's continue on then. All right, so here we go. So how buyers found their agent, right? So referrals, all buyers, 47%, first time buyers, 57%, right? So someone refers you. What does that mean to you guys? And here's another myth
You somebody
understanding.
like,
Sorry, go ahead, James.
I said, it means someone liked you.
Yeah. So even if you don't do business directly with someone, you want them to be a referral partner of yours, right? So you may have someone, I actually have a couple of people, I've never done a transaction directly with them, but they've referred several people to me because they understand what I do and my value, right? And so referrals are a huge source of leads, right? So someone says real estate, I want them to say Sean, right? And you guys can do the same thing. So referrals are really the big one. The next one is they've used an agent from a previous transaction, right? So all buyers, 13% first time buyers, obviously. I don't even know how I got to 2% because if it's the first time, how do they know a realtor? Unless it's
Be a
themselves or maybe
family
it could be
family buying or something.
could be. They inquired about a property they saw, right? Zillow, Facebook ad, who knows? Website, right? Kind of the same category. For sale, open house signage. So if you've not heard this before, you'll hear it again. Open houses are a huge opportunity for new agents. It's a great way to get business, right? So think about it. Someone comes to an open house, they are probably ready, willing, and able buyers, right? They've been pre-qualified for the most part. They may or may not have an agent, right? We want unrepresented clients, but there is opportunity, huge opportunity with open houses. At the very least, you're having real conversations with real buyers, right? So it's an amazing opportunity for new agents. And seasoned agents are they would rather go out and find another listing than do open houses, many of them. Some of them still love to do them, but many of them enjoy just giving another agent an opportunity to get into the business. So I would seek out that opportunity in your market center. Next one, referral from another agent. So that happens, right? That's another opportunity. We talked about referrals from your sphere, but there's also other agents that can refer business to you from out of state or wherever else. Rhode Island's a quirky state, so literally there are people that will not drive over the bridge to go the other side, even though it's only what 20 miles away. They'd rather refer business to somebody on this side of the pond. Odd, but it happens. And then visited an open house, right? So that's the last one. So these are all ways that buyers have found their agents. So the first one, obviously, almost 50% of them is a referral, which is why it's so important that you as an agent have those conversations and get people to refer business to you, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
And then
Something
obviously,
really cool happened this week
yeah.
that I'll share.
That's what we like to
So
hear.
my daughters are in camp, and their camp counselor was talking about how they just bought a house, and how they had a not really great experience with their realtor, which I thought was interesting, that they were having a conversation at camp. But my daughters actually referred the camp counselor to me and told them, "Oh, my mom's a realtor. You should have called her." And now they came home and told me, and now I have that connection where I reached out, and even though they just bought, and it's probably going to be 7 to 10 years, like we talk about, their sphere, she may have folks who are like, "Oh, what realtor did you use?" Because she just had a recent purchase. So maybe now she'll refer me to somebody because my daughters told her that I was a realtor. So that could be a cool,
Crystal, did she already close on her house?
she did.
She did. How recent?
It was within the last couple weeks.
When's the last day of camp?
Tomorrow.
Do you have
Get her a
time before
congratulations
pickup?
card.
Get not a card. Get her a little closing gift.
Oh, like a
Just a
housewarming
tiny
closing gift.
little
Yeah.
candle.
That
It's
is such
TJ
a great
Maxx.
idea.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Because I sent her an
Every-
email congratulating
Everyone loves
her.
cutting
But
boards as well. It's an easy one.
yeah, that's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
She'll
that's
love it.
awesome, Crystal. That's awesome. And that's honestly, that's the way it works. And I guarantee you, like I said earlier, if you stay in touch with that person, right, eventually they're going to transact again. And if you're the person that's, talking to them, they're going to forget about their other realtor.
Right. And one of the ahas that I took away from a previous course, I can't remember which one, was don't be the silent agent, right? Don't be a secret agent, I believe they said. So making
Mhm.
sure that everyone, and I see here referrals from friend, neighbor, relative, make sure everyone knows that you're out there so that
That's
you can
right.
get something similar.
Percent.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for sharing, Crystal. That's awesome. So here's how sellers found their agent. Very similar, right? The top line is referrals again, right? Next one is a lot more have used their previous agent, right? As long as they stay in touch, do not be that agent that disappears after a transaction, right? Um, you will have clients that are transactional, right? That you can send them cards
Yep.
and all of this other stuff, and eventually,
Yeah.
whoop,
I got it.
you got it. You may send someone cards, do pop buys, all of that stuff, and they never really engage with you. Surprisingly, if you do that, they'll still reach out to you when they're ready. I've had that happen several times. I'm like, why isn't
Mhm.
this person calling me back? They never return a text. They never come to an event I host. They never thank me for a pop by. And then I get a call like, hey, I want to list my house. All right, cool. Let's do it. Right. So what happens? Personal contact by an agent. So sometimes an agent will reach directly out to you, or I'm sorry, the other way around. You're reaching out to them, right? So you're finding them. Sometimes an agent will find you. And then the last three are really websites, open houses. I'm going to talk about the open house thing one more time because not only is it a good opportunity for buyers, it's also a great opportunity for sellers, right? Meaning a lot of times neighborhood people will come to an open house in their neighborhood because they're interested, right?
And
Some of
there's
the
5 minutes left in the open house.
what's that?
When there's 5 minutes left in the open
Yeah,
house.
yeah. Just when you're starting to go shut all the lights off in the house, that's usually when they show up. Um, But yeah, so sellers typically will come and look. Someone in that neighborhood is going to come and look because they're thinking about putting their house on the market and they want to see like what's going on. And I would really encourage you to be on point during open houses because I think of them as also interviews. Anybody that comes through there could be a potential client, whether they're selling or buying, right? So I want to make sure I'm on point. I'm not sitting in the corner on my phone, texting people while the open house is going on. I want to be engaged, right? And give them an impression. So I would suggest you kind of practice that when you're doing your open houses. Be present, be engaged. Okay.
John, can I add one other great benefit with the open houses to, you said it a
Absolutely.
little bit earlier, where a lot of the seasoned agents who have a lot of listings, they might want to be going out there and finding new listings ahead of them. It's great to get close with them because they need a reliable open house person for themselves. You're going to make friends in the office with great, hardworking, successful agents. And it gives you the opportunity when you've been vetted and proven your worth to those agents that you're likely, as long as you're around them, in front of them, to get that first weekend's open house in a brand new listing. And that is a great open house to be at.
Gold. That is gold right there. I when I first started, that was one of the first things I did was I created a hot sheet. I don't know what MLS you use. I don't know if they all have hot sheets, but I would look in my office and I would look at who just listed and I would call that agent right away and be like, "Hey, Joe, Bob, Cindy, whatever. I just saw you posted you put a new listing up. I'd love to host an open house for you this weekend." Right? So instead of waiting for them to
100%.
come to you, you go get it. Yeah. I love open houses, by the way, because it really got me a start in business. Um,
I'm in the same boat.
okay, cool. If you really work an open house, meaning you do all of the things, you door knock, you send notes, you make the phone calls, you do all that stuff, you are going to find business. Guaranteed, you will find business because you're going to max out the attendance at that open house, and you're going to meet neighbors. You got to do it. Don't just I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I would suggest that you do not just show up on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m., throw a flag on the front lawn, and wait for people to show up. You can do that.
Don't just plant a sign, plant yourself, and call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. If you put the effort in up front, it's going to pay off. All right. Well, we'll probably talk about open houses 27 more times tonight, but we'll keep going. All right. So command and opportunities, right? So we
Actually,
talked about
about
follow-up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Drew.
because I've covered an open house for an agent before. Um, is that as far as the door knocking and like everything you're saying, is that something that I should discuss with agents if I'm covering for them, or is that just assumed if you're covering the open house, you have that territory?
Personally, I would have the conversation because then you're showing your value to the agent. They're like, no one does that. You're doing that? Awesome.
I would be surprised if someone told you, "Oh, don't do that. I don't want that going on around my listing." You're just giving, honestly, kind of free marketing in their house,
Yeah.
and you're trying to drive in more attention, possibly get a lead off of it too.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, Rena mentioned the chat. A lot of open
Yeah, no
houses,
problem.
people need coverage for his very last minute. It's true, and that's one thing I really stood out with. I always had a packet ready, open house sign-in sheets, disclosure forms, everything like that in my bag, ready to go any chance I need it. I just need to print out open house MLS sheets, and it would usually be the bare minimal if it was last minute, someone's sick, someone's kid thing came up. But remember, open houses, they usually try and list those on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. That's when they announce them. So it's last minute, but also it's only about a 3-day, 4-day window from going announced to happening. So it's a very quick turnaround time. So try and schedule in there. I'm going to be doing an open house at this. And if you didn't get an open house to do, maybe travel around your market centers, open houses, visit them, see how it's going for them.
Yep. Good point. Yeah, a lot of them are last minute. I would still do them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in command, there's a couple things going on. One is we talked about follow-up. So one great thing is, let's say you do host an open house, you got a bunch of people that came, you want to have an open house smart plan to follow up with them, right? Text, emails, all of that stuff. And then if they do or don't respond, however you want to handle them, then you can flip them over to a long-term nurture plan. And I don't know if I'm speaking gibberish, but I think we've covered smart plans probably a few times earlier on, but really it's an automated campaign just to keep top of mind with people that you don't talk to every single day. Okay. The other thing in command is what's called opportunities. If you've spent any time in there, you'll see that there's 3 different categories. There's buyers, listings, and leases. And there are different steps, right? From when you first meet someone you're cultivating through closing, right? This is where you're going to start to qualify your buyers and sellers and put them in the right spot within command. Okay. All right. So any ahas on that first section? Somebody's got to have something.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
There you go.
Yeah. Just be available for it. Just know the parameters around how you're going to run it every one. Alan, hit as many open houses as you can, 100%. Try and host them. If not, visit them. It doesn't hurt. And plus, everyone will get really happy if you do a little video of a line waiting for them to go in. They'll happily reshare that for you. But yeah, be ready for it. Have just learn what the standard open house in case someone calls you morning of, hey, I've been puking all morning. I need some coverage today. Can't cancel it. That means they're calling you because they trust you. So you want to make sure you can keep that trust going and say, sure thing. Do you have the printouts ready or do I have to go do them? That should be the only question ready, waiting for you. And then you have everything else to put on the counter.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Anyone else have any ahas? Okay. So anyone know what aha means? Casey
A-
probably does.
Agents helping agents.
There we go. Alan's got it. All
Alan
right.
listened yesterday. It was one of my fun facts at the end.
Sweet. I just learned that this year. I never knew what it was. I think a family reunion or something. Okay. Well, let's move on. All right. So next we're going to talk about how to classify ready, willing, and able buyers, right? Because we don't want to be spending time with the wrong people. We want to be spending time with the right people. Oops. All right. Anybody who would like to read this this quote?
I'll take it.
Go for it.
Focus becomes increasingly possible in direct proportion to how clear you are about what you want, when you want it, and what you must do to get it.
Great.
Gary
Thank you.
Keller, millionaire real estate.
Thank you. What do you think what do you think that means? I know it's a
Once
long,
you define your goals and you're clear about them, you can create action plans for your goals to become possible.
there you go. Love that. And this is true not just for us as agents, this is true for everybody, right? So a buyer makes up their mind, like I'm buying a house. A seller makes up their mind, I'm listing my house. They're gonna do it, right? And we need to be there ready for them. So we're all kind of in the same boat, right? We gotta once we visualize it and we're good with it and we go, we've already made the decision. Correct? Okay. All right, so able, ready, and willing. So I'm sure you've heard the term come from curiosity. That's one of our common threads around here. This is super important. I don't know if anyone's a fan of Phil E. Jones. Have you heard that name before? No?
Watch twice.
Once or twice. He wrote a book called Exactly What to Say originally, and then he wrote a book Exactly What to Say for Realtors. And his his philosophy, and it's proven, is really to ask more questions than do more talking or advice, right? So coming from curiosity is truly asking questions of your client. We're just going to talk about real estate. It could be anywhere in your life with your kids, with your spouse, your significant other, whoever. But we'll talk about just real estate tonight. When you're working with buyers and sellers, you really want to get a true understanding of what they're attempting to do, right? Or what the problem they're trying to solve, whatever that is. Coming from curiosity helps you understand where they're coming from, and it also allows them to realize that you're truly invested in what they're trying to solve, right? So the more questions you're asking out of curiosity, the more you're going to be in tune with that person, and you're going to be able to figure out, are they able, are they ready, or are they willing? Does that make sense? Okay. So here's one suggestion you could use to qualify your opportunities, right? A, B, or C. I do hot, warm, and cold. You can do whatever you want. And so an A opportunity is someone who's ready, willing, and able to do business like right now, within the next week, 2 weeks, right? A B could be someone who's ready to do something in the next 1 to 2 months, right? And then C is someone who's a little further out, right? So you can ask these questions coming from curiosity to figure out where these folks are, right? Because you want to treat them accordingly. For example, if someone is a C buyer, right? They're looking to do something in a couple of months, maybe 3 months, 6 months. If I'm sending them properties every day from MLS, do you think that means anything to them? No.
Be fun to look at.
It's fun to look at, yeah, right? But if they've not gotten a pre-approval, they're kind of like not even at that stage yet. It's kind of like meaningless, right? Conversely, if I'm not sending properties that just hit the market today to my A person, I'm not servicing them correctly, right? Because I should be sending them stuff as soon as I get notice or as soon as it's available, right? So you want to make sure you qualify your people accordingly. That way you can treat them the right way. Anyone else have any ideas or suggestions on that part?
I have a question.
Sure.
So for the folks that fall into B and C, what type of touches should we be doing, or what content should we be sharing?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it depends. So we'll just use buyers, for example. You could send them things of value, meaning, hey, here are the trends with interest rates, or here are the trends with in the neighborhood you're looking in, how the average price point or the days on market, just simple information that they can digest easily. There's a smart plan called is it Neighborhood Nurture? Can't remember. Yeah, Neighborhood Nurture. You could just automate that and send them that email once a month,
You could also know something, like anticipate some things coming up. Again, example buyer. You could bring to their attention, hey, when we're going through the process, I'm gonna, and at least in my market center, each one's different, so keep that in mind. But we work with a home shield, American Home Shield, a warranty company, and we don't make any money off of it or anything like that, but we have it out there as a nice option for them. So if you know that they're not going to do any action in for 2 months or so, it doesn't hurt saying, hey, these are some of the information I'd like you to look up on. This is just some of the important facts about a home inspection. This is important things about a home warranty in case you're interested when the time comes. So you're not going to have to spend the time when they're so focused on the property itself explaining it. You've now given them that time as they're doing their research and prep in order to, include that into their thought process as well.
That's a great suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
The
I did that recently. A friend of mine and his wife, I met with them, and I've known this man for over 30 years now, and he's gonna be my wedding next year. So I know exactly the type of person he is, and he's a very worried person. So I sat down with them, brought him to the office, and I just went over. I literally said, "This is basically the entire start to finish process of buying a house. These are things you might want to consider. You might want to consider a home warranty because I know you're worried about everything, and they have a good veteran discount too. So it was a nice thing that they got to focus on some of those extra parts and not worry as much. You could also include, hey, maybe just keep in mind who you'll use for insurance, something like that as well, because that's usually a surprise towards the end for a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah, and then for like your C buyers or sellers, it's really a 36 touch plan or a long-term nurture plan that you can put them on, and you want to talk to them every so often, throughout that process. And one piece of advice that was given to me when I first started was, if someone tells you let's say 6 months, cut it in half. Make it treat it like it's going to be 3 months. If they say 3 months, cut that in half. It's going to be a month and a half. Because people, once they, again, going to the previous quote, once they make up their mind, they'll probably go there faster than they think they will. And you don't.
Ron, quick question for you.
Yeah.
How quickly can a C become an A?
Overnight.
Just like that.
Just like that. Exactly. It could be anything could happen at any time. Just like we have things that happen in our lives every day. There could be a change in events where it's like, oh, you know what? I was waiting for this to happen. It's not going to happen. So now I'm ready. Or the other way around. I was waiting for this to happen and it did. Now I'm ready.
Someone could say, hey, I'm not ready yet, probably about 6 months. I do want to be in this town. It's where my family lives. And my sister has kids the same age as my kids. We really want to be close by to them and have them go to school together and everything. But it's probably not going to be for 6 months. 1 week later, a neighbor of the sister's house comes in the market and it's a perfect one for them. Do you think that's going to change the little things in their life?
Yep, exactly. I'm working with a team right now that I'm coaching, and they have a buyer that said they're looking next year, 2026. They're not ready yet. And I said, okay, why don't you just get them pre-qualified now, just to see, so they'll know. Guess what? They're in the market. It took about 3 weeks to get them, to show up and go and do the pre-qualification. Now they're like, we are ready. Right? So you never know. You never know. But anyway, so we want to make sure we classify our people. And to Casey's point, it could change overnight. They're a C today, that could be an A tomorrow. Right? Okay. Any ahas on that section? That was a quick one. So really it's just qualifying your people. So last session you learned how to convert, right? Conversation to an appointment. Now you're at the appointment, now you're doing the qualification part. Okay. Anything, Casey?
We're good in the chat over here. I don't have any ahas myself.
Okay.
I shared them all already, I think.
All right, let's get into the qualification. So now we're gonna talk about what does that conversation look like when you're qualifying a buyer or a seller, right? And again, this is coming from curiosity. It's asking lots of questions. So why are we qualifying our clients, our buyers and our sellers? We want a win-win, right? They want something, we want something. A lot of people follow a checklist. I don't know if you do, Casey. I did when I first started, right?
I'm in
Just
the
to-
same boat, but I do like to have a checklist, and that's what I like with opportunities is the checklist lives there. But I'm not gonna lie, I do feel I need to get back to a little more checklist. They're good for a reason. And if you go in a lot of the top agents' offices, they'll either have a cork board, a marker board, or something like that, and it might be their own version of a checklist with all their listings laid out in front of them. They just know this was done here. This is the date for that one. So it's not something just for a new agent. It's the successful ones who've been doing it forever have those too.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we're gonna abide by fair housing, right? So not that it's the same, but I'm gonna share a story with you. When I first started working with buyers, because that's a lot of new agents tend to get buyers quicker than listings. I remember taking one buyer out and I'm like, you like this house, but you don't like that one? That one was perfect, and this one's not perfect. It's trash. And I could not justify it in my mind. And then I'm like, you know what? It's their money, right? They can buy whatever they want.
Well, that leads right into the full version of the classic line. The buyers, what is it? The customer's always right. The full version of that one. The customer's always right in a matter of taste. So if someone comes in, they're buying a hat, it's the ugliest hat you've ever seen in your life, but they like it. Hey, that looks wonderful on you.
Yeah,
Why argue with them?
exactly. So what are some other reasons why we would want to qualify our buyers and sellers?
Wanna
Find
make
out their budget.
Budget, good one.
Great one,
You don't
Diana.
waste your time with someone who is absolutely not able to to get a loan.
Absolutely true.
100%. Don't even turn your car on.
Absolutely. Casey, have you made that mistake?
We all have.
I'm a slow learner, so I did it more than once. But yeah.
A handful of Baker's dozen.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say add a little slight tidbit to it because it's actually kind of timely for it. So we're 3 days past the anniversary of the NAR change last year, and with that one, it made this vetting process that much better. I don't want to take from you if you have anything planned ahead, Sean. I don't want to jump ahead on you.
Nope, go for it.
Perfect. So in my office, I've been, last year, I'm sure most of you have heard some of the changes where it's not compensation's not grouped together. It's fully negotiable on both sides for the seller paying the seller paying their agent, maybe the option paying the buyer's agent, or if the seller's not going to pay the buyer's agent, the buyer's now responsible for it. This gives you so much more power to get a well qualified and vetted buyer in front of you. It's ridiculous. If you ask any lender, they're going to say the same thing. Because in the event you bring a buyer to a home and you're, as you should all be doing, a buyer agency agreement with your buyers, and your state might have a different term for it. So pardon me on this one. But in there, it would describe the amount of compensation you do at closing from your buyer. And when you get that signed, and they might say, okay, I want to see this house first before I do it. Let's slow down the process a little bit in the front end. So that way you can double check with their lender. Hey, this is our buyer agency agreement. My compensation's 2.5% for it. Is that going to work? This way the lender can see if the seller is not able or willing to pay for your compensation, your buyer's responsible. And that might be just enough thing to put them over the ledge to not get a home. So one, it gives them a more reasonable expectation of what they'll have to pay. And two, it's going to, what if they say, hey, it's 2.5%? They could maybe pay 1% if you can get the other 1.5% from the seller. So it gives you a lot more of a realization what you can get out of that deal. And it's going to make sure that they've gotten pre-approved, confirmed everything.
Yep, that's a very good point, Casey. Pre-NAR ruling, it was Wild West, right?
You
weren't
take whatever's
necessarily-
given to you.
What's that?
They just take whatever's given to them.
Yeah, you take what's ever given to you. And with online leads and Zillow and all this other stuff, you would just meet someone at a house and maybe you'll do a deal, maybe you won't. Who knows, right? Because you didn't have a buyer's agency agreement, you could actually get into a deal and then find out there's no way they could do this, But- So anyway, this is really good. The NAR stuff is actually a really good thing to help buyers agents have even more leverage to get the qualification done.
So basically, you
And-
guys, you're saying if, like, let's say tomorrow, someone from my circle I spoke to, and it seemed like they were very interested in moving forward, and they came to me because they had already seen an open house that they want to go to. You're saying before you do that, you kind of take these steps.
100%.
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily start off and say, hey, you have to sign this right away with the buyer agency agreement, because that can be a little scary, but you want to go through a little bit of a checklist. Have you spoken to a lender yet? Do you know what you're pre-approved for and what you can afford based off of your debt to income ratio, what your monthly payments will be, all of that, because that is the most important part. And Sean's going to back me up on this one, I'm sure. There's been times you bring that person who you haven't confirmed they're pre-approved, go see a house, $750,000. They love it. It's beautiful. Now they're checking with the lender. Their budget's $550,000. Do you think that $550,000 house is going to look as good as that $750,000? So it also helps get the right expectation so they don't feel disappointed in the next opportunity for them.
Good point.
So Brett, if someone gave you a call and said, hey, I want to go take a look at this house this weekend, you should first, before jumping on buyer agency agreement just yet, but you do want that signed before you go see a property with them, say, hey, all right, let's just make sure, everything's in place for this one. Have you checked with your lender as of yet to make sure you're pre-approved for this? I would like to see a pre-approval first, just so I know what we're working with here. And then that way you can kind of let the lender be a lot of the bad guy too. Hey, you can't afford that. You have to get something like this. Let the bank be bad. You're the happy guy.
That's a good
Does that make
point.
sense, Brett?
Yeah, I like that idea. I was trying to think about how to, I guess, present it to someone, because I'm sure it happens often where people think that they're going to be qualified for more than they are, and
Happens all the time.
yeah, I'm
And
probably guilty
no
of
one's
it
gonna
myself.
Right. And plus, no one's going to accept the valid offer or really consider an offer unless a pre-approval is attached to it.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what I got to get also more comfortable with, is making that a smooth conversation where you're looking out for their best interests, and you don't have to tell them exactly, that it's going to be disastrous if like what you just explained. So I'll just that's good advice. Thanks.
We want to set right expectations.
Correct. And the opposite can happen too, where people don't think they could even get a loan, and then you show them, they're like, wow, I can actually stop renting and I can buy, that happens as well. And it's part of that qualification process, right? And so, Brett, to your point, when document and checklist and all that stuff, that's going to be your buyer consultation kind of framework, right? So what does that look like when you sit down with someone, right? What documents are you bringing with you? Do you have a buyer presentation that you're going to share with them? Do you have a checklist that you're going to run through? I would suggest you do that, especially as a newer agent, because you're going to be adding stuff to that as you go along, as you learn things that you do correct or incorrect. You're going to adjust yourself in your presentation. And then you're also, like with the fair housing stuff, you're treating everyone the same way because you're following the same process with every buyer. Right?
Great idea. And Brett, since you're one of my guys, Let's get something in the books next week and we can go over it all.
That's
There
a
you go.
great idea. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, because we want to be consistent, and then you want to build a system around all the things you do, and then that way you can improve your system and then scale it, right? So the busier you get, you still have that system behind you, and it will scale and grow with you until you need leverage, and then that's a whole nother conversation. And again, you're treating everyone the same way, which is super important when you talk about fair housing, right? Okay. So buyer's lead sheet. So this is what we were talking about earlier, is what are the things you can do to be consistent and then ask questions to get the qualification back, right? I don't have a lead sheet that I use or a buyer consultation sheet handy. I do have some built that I share with other agents, but it's just a good way to have a great conversation and to not miss the important things, right? There's wants and needs, two different things. This is a big one. You can want something or you can need something, right? So for example, you may want a built-in pool, but do you need a built-in pool, right? Or do you want a two-car garage or do you need a two-car garage, right? Oh, I need a two-car garage, Okay, good. Then we need to make sure we find a house with at least a two-car garage. So you want to make sure you know the differences between those two. No house is typically perfect. There's usually some concessions that a buyer will have to give up. Um, hey, who knows? Maybe there is a perfect house, but sometimes there are concessions you need to make. So that's why if you know already in advance what's a want versus a need, you can adjust, right? Casey, did you ever use a qualification sheet or?
When I started out, I was using them, but from using them so much, I did just kind of develop in my conversation with it. But I did keep the roadmap of it there
Okay.
for a reason. Um, Trying to hit all those points, just because I know if you're not covering a lot of these points, that's going to be the thing that catches you in the end.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, you have pets?
Oh wait, your mother's gonna be living with you? Oh, okay. She can't be in the basement room. All right, let's retract this offer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so it's really important that you ask these questions, and then that way you could be more specific on finding exactly what they need, right? Um, I've had buyers that are like, I only want to be in this town. I'm not looking anywhere else. Not at all. Off the table. And then I'll show them stuff not in the town that fits their needs, and like, oh, well, I'll consider that because it's got the stuff I need, right? So there's some stuff that they may tell you that may not be true, but if you know their needs and it fits their needs, they may be willing to adjust. And that's one of those concessions I was talking about.
Also, don't sleep on the benefits of having a buyer lead sheet for timetables of things. One of these just came up in our office last week. Someone was asking, like, "Oh well, my client really wants to make an offer on this house, but they can't get out of their lease early." And I'm like, well, this is something you should definitely, review it earlier. They're in a lease. Can they break it early? What's the deadline for it? And, their landlord's not letting them out. It's one of those big facility places. So they're going to hold them to the dime. And that money that they're going to have to spend to keep that other rental going is actually going to throw off their loan. So they do need to actually hold off their search another, like month or two in order to line it up to get a more reasonable closing date, or the buyers are lying to the agent saying that they can't break it. And there you are. But it is good to find out this information. Like, do you have a lease? I'm sorry, are you on a lease? And what time are you out of there? Are you able to break it early? Is it a cool landlord? Is it month to month? Any or tenancy at will? So these are really good things to know, because that way you can know the timeline of everything taking place to help them save the most amount of money and not have to cover two households at once. And the bank could have a problem with that too.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So here's another question I found out late in the game too, is I was working with a buyer and he was self-employed, and self-employed versus W-2 qualifications for lending are totally different, right? So I took it for granted that he was up to date with his tax returns and all that stuff. And come to find out he was not, right? So we already were getting ready to make an offer, and I kept pushing him to get pre-qualified. He finally did to make the offer, and then, oh geez, he's not qualified. However, he owned several other properties, which I didn't know about. I didn't ask that question. So we were able to turn around quickly and pull equity from 4 other properties, and he bought cash. Right? But I didn't ask that question, do you own any other real estate? Had I done that up front, we probably would have cut 30 to 45 days off of the process. Right? So again, even seasoned agents miss stuff, and I've added that now to my question list. Do you own any real estate?
Which is
Because
also kind of a really good question to open up. Oh, well, hey, once you get this, now you have the option of maybe buying more real estate as investment property.
exactly. Exactly right. Exactly right. All right, so let's do who would like to do a little role play? Let's do a quick buyer consultation. Maybe you and I do it, Casey, first,
All
if you're
right.
good with that. And
Yeah.
then we'll get a couple of volunteers to see if they would like to do that too. Do you want to be the buyer or do you want to be the agent?
I'll be the buyer. You're running the show tonight.
All right, let's go. I'm a little rusty with buyer consults, but I'm gonna try it. No, I'm not gonna
Don't
try
worry,
it.
I'm going to be difficult.
Ah,
I can be
buyers
a
are-
buyer.
What's that?
I can be a buyer.
Buyer. Yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, let's go.
Let's go.
So
Let's
I'm
do it
at the
live.
open house.
What's that?
I'm at the open house, and you are the agent.
I'm the agent. Okay. Hey, Veronica, what brought you to the open house today?
I'm looking for the house for big house. Actually, not so big house. Just 2, 3 bedrooms house.
Okay, that's amazing.
What?
Have you been looking for long?
Um, like 2 months maybe.
Okay. Are you currently working with an agent?
No,
Oh, okay, great. Have you worked with a lender yet?
no.
No? Okay, great.
Or
So
maybe
I
yes.
okay.
So two options. If I say no,
If you say no that you've not met with a lender?
no, I mean we're gonna play 2 options now. I'm asking if I'm did not speak with lender, and the second option, yes, I did.
Okay.
So the first option is no.
First option is no, is like, okay, I would love to sit down with you. I know this is a busy open house. We can talk today, or we can set up time to talk later, and let's just pretend we're gonna talk now. And then I'd love to talk to you about the process of getting pre-qualified. I can introduce you to a couple of lenders that I work with, and then talk to you about the process of purchasing a home. Would you be open to that?
Yes.
Perfect. So then if the answer was yes, I am pre-qualified, great. Do you happen to know what your pre-approval amount is?
500,000.
Perfect. I would love to sit down with you and go through that, and then let's talk about finding a great house for you. Would you like to talk about that now?
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. So I don't know. Does that make
So
sense?
if today, so what would you say if today?
Yeah. So let's step outside, or let's go into the garage, or let's go somewhere else where it's a lot less noise. And so the conversation will be like this. Great. So you're
Garage? No,
pre-qualified.
no garage. Sorry.
What's that?
No garage. Garage doesn't like a sound good for me.
So then I would say, so Veronica, so you're in the market, you're currently looking. What's most important to you in a new house?
Hardwood floors, new
Okay.
windows, new roof. Garage, maybe garage. Big parking lot.
Okay.
Beautiful backyard. Yeah, and newer house, not like an old house.
Okay. Is there a specific neighborhood that you want to be in, or a city?
Cambridge.
Cambridge, okay.
Cambridge,
Perfect.
yeah, with the Charles River view,
Charles River, okay.
yeah,
And is there a particular style of home that you're interested in?
modern,
Modern? It-
yeah.
Is there anything that any home you would not want to look at?
You mean specific house?
Yeah, like, do you like a colonial? Do you like a ranch? Do you want one floor or two floors?
Two floors, two floors.
Okay, all right. And then, are there any other people involved, in this purchase?
No, me only.
Just you? Okay, perfect. Anyone else gonna be living in there? Do you have, significant others, children, pets?
Pets.
Okay,
For
perfect.
now, for now.
What kind of pets do you have?
A cat.
Oh, a cat. Awesome.
I have, yeah, she's sleeping right there
Oh yeah, what's
behind
her
me.
name? What's her name?
Dixie.
Dixie?
Her name is Dixie.
Very nice.
She's a
So,
princess.
she's a princess? So Veronica, what I'd
Yeah.
like to do is let's set up a file.
I'm her slave.
You're a slave.
If I'm buying house, it's for her, not for me.
Okay, even better. So you want a sunny spot for her somewhere so she can lay down, right?
Yeah.
And look at the Charles River.
Yeah, right.
Perfect. All right, great. So what I'd like to do is let's set up a follow-up meeting because I got to get back to this open house, but we can talk. I would love to grab your email and your contact info because when I leave here today, I'm going to set up a search and start sending you properties. Would that be good for you?
All right. So what about the attorney? Do you have attorney that does not charge like
Yes.
rocket prices?
Well, I have attorneys that I can recommend to you, and then you can talk with them and interview them and choose the one you like.
All right. So what more suggestions would you give me about buying the house? Maybe some specifics?
With some specifics.
Yeah.
Well, I would set up another meeting to talk about that. Be, only because we're at an open house, but let's pretend we're at that other meeting. That's when I would start to dig in a little bit more. Okay.
Okay,
And
you keep it mysterious. I'm telling this not like a buyer. I'm telling this like an agent.
no, that's
Okay,
fine.
I got it.
That's
I
fine.
got it.
So
I
in
will
my
remember that.
in my buyer consultation package, I have one page that is like a roadmap and it shows the process. And I would just walk you through the process, like pre-qualification, work with an agent, go search houses, make an offer, do inspections, appraisal, closing day, that sort of thing, and walk you through that whole process and tell you what will happen at each milestone. So you're clear on where we're going, and then jump into a little more specifics about the search that the home that you're looking for. And in the meantime, between now and then, I would have already sent you several homes and I would ask you for feedback. So based on the homes I've sent to you, were there any of them that really were, intriguing to you? Anything special that you liked? And that
Okay.
way it's giving me an idea of what you like and what you don't like. That
So
makes
do we have like this map here in Ignite, like as an example? Can we see? I'm asking
Might
like
not
as an agent.
necessarily be in Ignite due to states specific items in there that could change, and it's more of a broad scope for Ignite. So I would maybe recommend reaching out to your team leader or PC in your office if they have a timeline of a deal page or a roadmap of a deal, because that can be very helpful.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Sounds
depending
like
on where
helpful.
you're at, it could be different from state to state. So the Ignite wouldn't necessarily have that on
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm in Massachusetts. I suppose
Okay.
everyone is in Massachusetts here. Not everyone, but most of you guys.
there. At least we're all in New England, at least.
We're all in New England, yeah. But
Mhm.
like Rhode Island and Massachusetts are very different. There's a couple of
Mhm. Oh.
differences. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But
All
yeah,
right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh,
you're
yeah.
welcome. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so that
Thank.
would be it. So I would walk you through the buyer presentation, walk you through the roadmap, And then I would start getting into, okay, I sent you several properties. Were there any that really stuck out to you? And what did you like about them? And you're going to start telling me, oh, the kitchen, or whatever it is that your favorite part is about a house. And then I'll be like, oh, the kitchen is the most important thing to Veronica. So let me go find a house with an awesome kitchen.
How did you know that?
think you-
Kitchen is, it's my everything because I'm a professional cook.
No way.
Yes, and a baker. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, I have so many actually
Awesome.
professions. So the bedroom is the second one, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Veronica. That was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So
I'm hiding you.
thanks. So what did you guys hear or see, or is there anything that you took away from that quick conversation?
I know what I want to see is the $500,000 Cambridge house with a view of the Charles.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
That's
familiar
what
with
I'm
that
looking
market, but
for.
you have to add a 1 point in front of that
Yep. No, I'd say at the end.
at the
Or
end.
maybe
A
a dog
0
house.
at the end.
It could be a cat house.
A cat house.
I don't know. Even in Cambridge, I don't know about 500.
Oh yeah. 105, yeah, like 1.5 million, yeah.
That's a parking spot there.
Right. Yeah. So what else?
Um,
So Casey, you did latch on to that price point, and I mean, I don't know Cambridge that well, but I know it's not a 500K neighborhood,
yeah.
and that is a real scenario where that will
Mhm.
happen, where people have a budget, but it's not matching where they want to be or need to be, and that's a conversation you need to have.
I picked
Mhm.
Cambridge because my client lives in Cambridge now, so that's why it just
Ah,
come to
oh,
my
no,
mind.
I've made up. I pulled out some real pricey towns, bet low numbers too. It's
I know,
normal.
I
I had a
know
good laugh
prices in
over it.
Cambridge,
Yeah.
like several millions.
But yeah, Sean, I would agree with that. Is the price point can really change the view with someone, and depending on their needs in this buyer lead sheet, you can even maybe stretch their money a lot further if they're okay with it. It was actually my first deal ever I had, and I got in contact with these buyers. They worked with some agents before, and it just didn't have any luck. And a lender I know personally referred them over to me. And I got in touch with them. We were searching around. It was all kind of the South Shore area. And they were looking for like the bigger towns, Canton, Easton, Mansfield, things like that. And I was opening up their search for them from knowing where they work and everything like that. I was like, oh, have you taken a look at Taunton? It's only you two in here. You don't have any kids going to school or anything like that. And they're like, oh, I would never want to live in Taunton. No. And they were real like brushing it off. And I'm like, oh, just the one thing I'd like to put in your, just cover with you. I don't know if you happen to know how big that town is. It's huge. And a lot of people think the center of town is what it is. And in the search, I did have one thing in Taunton there for it. And I sent it over to them. They loved it. And we went over there. They bought the house. They knew there was going to be a little bit of work put in there, but we were able to go about $50,000 under the normal budget because they were looking to put that back into the house. And, we got in there, nice clean deal. 6 months later, I get invited to their housewarming party. They redid the whole basement themselves. They had a great job. They cleaned it up beautiful. Their property value's through the roof now. And they're like, this is great. My taxes are cheaper than I was looking to go already. I got more land. I love my neighbors. So, some people might have in their head, I need to be in this one spot without being aware of what else is out there. And they got a lot bigger of a house than they were looking at elsewhere too.
Yep. That's exactly right. Sometimes you get more for your money in a different area.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point, not to be talked down if somebody immediately is like, I would never live there, and they don't even really know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
And And I agree, the spot they didn't want to live, I wouldn't want to live there either. But if you're on a nice, Route 44 Dighton line over there, it's
Yeah.
a lot quieter, a lot more
Yep.
room. You have Tom and Jimmy's ice cream. So there's good
Hey.
things on that end.
So the role play we just did, we met at an open house. So I didn't really ask the questions about whether you're ready to move like A, B, or C. So, because clearly it's an A, Veronica's at an open house, she's pre-qualified, she's in the market, she's shopping. So I did not ask her any other questions about how ready are you? If that were a different buyer that someone introduced me to, or I met on the street or whatever it was, I would ask the questions we just asked. However, I would also start adding in questions to see what their willingness is to move forward, right? So, for example, one way you could ask it is, hey, if we went and looked at houses this weekend on a scale of 1 to 10, how willing would you be, how ready would you be to make an offer that day? 1 to 10. If it's a 1, okay, they're probably not ready to go, right? They're probably that C person. And if they say 10, 8 to 10, then they're probably an A, right? So let's say they're a 1. I would say, okay, so what would it take to get you to a 10? And then they're going to tell me, like, oh, well, our lease isn't up until March of next year, or we haven't even gotten pre-qualified yet, or, it could be a number of things. We're just thinking about it. We're just looking at the market. Okay. So I'm gonna start to qualify them that way. And if they're like, oh, well, it'll be a 10 as soon as I do X, right? Okay, great. Let's find out what X is, right? And then
Mhm.
when is that gonna happen? Now maybe they're not a C, maybe they're a B, right? Because maybe it's, hey, a month from now, I just got a new job and I'm getting a raise next month, and that my what do you call it, pre-approval rate's gonna go up, and then I'll be ready. Okay, great. That's a month away. Perfect. Or 2 months, whatever it is. So the question you need to start asking is, how ready are you? I use the, hey, um, would you be willing to write an offer on the hood of my car? Right? Seriously. And if they're like, yeah, absolutely, great, let's go. Right? Well, you're ready. If not, then we start asking more questions. That's my style. I don't know, Casey, if you have a different style in that.
Um, I'm a little
Very
bit less
helpful.
upfront. That yeah,
Very
Sean, you did
helpful.
have
Yeah.
a good system for it. I'm not as much as the 1 through 10. I'm more of a let's ask a bunch of questions in the front end to get kind of that answer without them saying it outright there,
Mhm.
and maybe gauging off of each house. Where I sense their excitement through conversations with them. We're going to see 24 Smith Street, and then they're you can kind of feel the excitement building up. I'm like, hey, if you guys like this one, let's maybe keep our excitement down when we're over there. But
Yeah.
if you really like it, I can get everything ready right now. So when we're in there, we can kind of make that decision on, in the moment. So I kind of like to gauge it off of each one.
You know what? That's a good point. And so you're right. I do read people. So that was a D person that I was just talking to, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the disc profile, but a D is someone who's direct. And they just want the information. So I can ask that question directly. Yeah, there you go, right? I am too. Just give me the facts. I don't want to hear the fluff, right?
Makes me happy.
Makes me happy. But if someone was more of an I, which is, influential, they're already planning their spring outing in the backyard while we're looking at the house. I probably would not be as direct with that person. I would do more of
Mhm.
what Casey just said, like you can read the body language, like, oh, they're getting really excited about this. Oh, you know what? Don't say anything in front of the listing agent because we're gonna go talk in the car about this house, right?
Mhm.
So they're interested. So that's a great point, Casey. Each person has a different style, and you need to communicate them in a different way. And you'll get to learn this over time. As a
It's
newer
fun.
agent and as a D, I was treating everyone like a nail. I was hammering everybody, right? And then I
Mhm.
realized that doesn't work all of the time, right? If I
Yeah.
ask that direct question to someone who's more of a S or a C, someone who's very cautious and needs to know all of the things before they make a choice, and I just hit them with, on a 1 to 10, are you ready to go? Then maybe like, this guy's nuts. I'm like a 0. Like, I don't want to, I'm not ready for this, right?
It's definitely a really good thing for you all to look into. And if your Market Center is hosting any disc classes coming up, definitely attend it and take your own disc profile as well. Actually, mine is somewhere in a stack of papers next to me here. And so on the disc profile, I'm high D and high I. So it's direct and interpersonal on that one. And I'm so high D and I that I forget what the S and the C actually stand for. So, but the funny part is we have that, direct person and, interpersonal is more social. The other two, the S and the C, that's about what 75% of the population or
Yeah.
something like that are those
Yeah.
two styles. So if you're going in there like hot to trot every time, you can easily scare off a lot of people. Someone gave me a great example for when you're dealing with the different personality traits. And again, reason you want to take it is because now you're educating yourself and you go into a situation, how you might have to regulate your own style to match with theirs. Because let's be honest, do you expect to go anywhere and your client matches you? No, you should be matching your client where they're at. You're trying to help them out. And say you walk into a listing appointment and the garage, it's a house that you walk into the garage. Every nice neighborhood around usually has a couple houses like that where they use that as the front door. And you go and you see the tool bench there, with the wall, and everything is a chalk outline for every wrench, screwdriver, everything like that. And you go in and you just get greeted right away by, let's say it's a wife there. And she's like, "Oh my God, look at this kitchen. We just redid it. I've been able to have so many great parties and all my friends over. They've been loving it. We've had about 3 years, and I am going to be really sad at going away, but I can't wait to go into our next house and have another great, beautiful kitchen that's going to be amazing for hosting and having parties and everything like that. Did you see what I did over in the bathroom too when we redid the kitchen? I redid the tiling in here as well. Guess what? You're going to leave the stat sheet about the house with all the boring details about when things are built, the age of things, the history about the town and the sales and everything. You go to the husband who's work, say that's his work zone out there and say, "Hey, sir, I believe I'm getting taken on tour right now, but I think you might find this information pretty helpful. And let me know if you have any questions." Okay, let's go take a look at this family room now. And you're going to get whisked away by the person who wants to chat and have a good time. And then they're going to dial in there and know what they're going to read. So you want to know what to expect when you meet these certain types of people. And once you get those, 75% of the population to feel a little bit more comfortable with you, then they'll open up more and be able to share more with you.
Absolutely correct.
That
Absolutely
was
correct.
all my late afternoon coffee just blasting out of me all at once.
So oddly enough, I'm a DI also. Surprise, right? And yeah, dealing with and the word dealing, I shouldn't have said that. Working with an S or a C is like polar opposite of me. I'm just like I want to pull my hair out. Let's just get there faster. But you have to adjust and like slow down and meet them, kind of where they are. Well, a lot of S's and C's are checklisty people. Like they just one thing I added to my listing presentation was a checklist that I would leave behind. So that checklisty person would be like, "Oh, I did clean the kitchen. I did take the photos down. I did fix the shrubbery in the front, whatever it is." Like they want that stuff because it makes them happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Also, just for confirmation on the lettering here, D is dominance, I is influence, S is steadiness, and C is compliance. So keep that in mind for those type of personalities.
Yep. So yeah, so the questions and the way you ask them, you need to adjust based on their personality. That's really the big takeaway. And yeah, to Casey's point, I would go search out. There's some free disc tests out there that are kind of accurate. The ones that you pay for, I think there's the Tony Robbins one is free. It's probably the most accurate. However, you will get bombarded with email after that. So
Elizabeth, did you have a question?
Yeah, do you mind repeating that, the DISC, please?
Of course, I love my own voice. Let me see here. Let me pull it back up. I have a million things open. D is dominance. And also keep in mind, a lot of the different companies that do disc profiles might use different names for this, but it's a good way to view it at a bird's eye level. D is dominance. I is influence. S is steadiness. And C is compliance.
Yep. So, so based on those questions that we asked, we have now figured out where they are. Are they an A, a B, or a C? And then now we're gonna treat them accordingly, right? So I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. If they're an A, we're gonna be like talking to each other probably once a day, once every couple of days, getting ready to go. If they're a B, it could be less frequent until I get them to the A, right? So maybe they're a month out or 2 months out. Maybe I talk to them once a week or every other week or something like that. But I'm sending them, they're probably on a drip campaign or a smart plan, right? So I'm probably sending them stuff and I'm getting myself reminders to call them. If it's a C, same thing. I'm just going to treat them the way they are. So maybe I'm talking to them once a month and I'm sending them stuff in between until they're ready to get to that B or A status, right? And again, they could jump from C to A overnight. But as long as you're talking with them and staying top of mind, you'll be good. That's the whole purpose of this. Okay, we did the role play. So any ahas out of that section? That was a lot. Did we go through the ahas as we were?
I like the disc class. I find the disc class, try to understand that a little bit more. The checklist, I'll look into that. The checklist as far as the process of, see, I'm a new agent, 2 months in, and I find you discussed the checklist of the process of moving a buyer forward, the process of it, the steps, and you will probably, where would you find that list? Would you find it with your market center, or that's where I should start, or would it be into the commands? No.
So
Yeah, I
you're
would
looking for the timeline of a deal?
Yeah, like a checklist, the steps that you just
Yep.
like.
So-
Don't you would make sure that they're approved. You want them to be approved. You want the process that you take them to make sure that they qualify, right?
Yeah. So with that one, I'm going to separate these two
Okay.
on their own. So timeline of a deal. So from initially signing up with an agent, starting the search process to closing and receiving the keys of your home. For that, I would check with your market center and either your PC coach or team leader. They should have one of those available. And then when it comes to like the checklist for what they're going to need to happen, I would check with them as well. It's like there is a lot of material online for that as well, what you'll need to go. And in all reality, the most part, you're going to get used to saying it from the get-go, pre-approval, buyer agency agreement, consumer relationship disclosure, things like that. I know each state's different, so bear with me. You'll get used to that one pretty quick, kind of like riding a bike. That one's going to step on pretty quick to you. But I would look through maybe, steps needed for compliance, maybe on the initial consultations section with the client, or make your own checklist, honestly.
Yeah, but you
That
would
doesn't
need
hurt.
to know. Yeah, I understand that, but you still need to know the steps. The process of it. You want to make sure
Of
that
course.
by
Do you have a team leader, a PC coach in your office?
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
would.
why they asked me to take this class. They said, go take these
well,
learn.
what I'm hearing is you don't have a dumb one either. So you
Excuse
have
me?
a smart one over. I said what I'm hearing is you don't have a dumb one over there. So you got someone good on your side. So I would try and meet and do a one-on-one with them to just go over, okay, I'm about to meet a client. What are all the items I should check off? And are you someone who likes to make your own thing or work off of something already made?
Excuse me?
Do you like to make use something pre-made, or do you like to be the one who makes it and utilizes it and lets it grow?
What I like to know is like to know what someone else have, because everybody have their own style, and then develop my own that works for me.
Okay, so you like me. You like to learn the rules so you know how to break them. And
not break them, but
bend them. And so I would meet with them just to go over, your brokerage itself, their policies and everything that you want to make sure are hit, and work off of that. For the most part, pre-approval is 100% on there. And that buyer checklist is probably a good one to have, because I would bet if you follow through with any kind of buyer checklist, that is going to probably proactively answer a lot of the questions already for you.
Yes. All right, thank you.
So one other piece of advice is Etsy, ETSY, Etsy. They have tons and tons of templates for realtors that you can modify to your own. If you go to Etsy and put in real estate buyer checklist or buyer form, I'm sure you'll have tons of options in there.
Thank you.
Also, to tack on to this, while AI is fun and it's fun to play with, I would not put in there and say, write me a buyer checklist for what they need to have. It's not, it always says double check your information for a reason. And so you don't want to have, ChatGPT here telling you the wrong steps because it's pulling information from a deal down in Georgia to try and utilize it for Massachusetts. So I would stay away from that for now until you know well enough to correct it to the way you want it. That might be a nice one to build up when you're building your own, but not as the initial search.
Yep. Good point. Good point. Okay, so now touch plan. So we talked about this briefly, right? How we're gonna treat our A, B's, and C's. So there are different ways, the 19 to connect, 36 touch plan, 1 to cement. 1 to cement. That's a new one. I thought it was 8 by 8. Anyway, 1 to cement.
Yeah, they did. I think they switched it up from the 8 by 8 a little bit there.
Okay. So these are just different ways to treat your person. 1 to cement, obviously, we're ready to go. Have anyone played with smart plans at all in Command? Okay. Elizabeth has raised her hand. I don't know. Do you have a question, or are you just saying, yeah, you're playing with smart plans? So once you get your contacts into your database, then you can start putting them on these smart plans. So they get an automated either emails or text from you, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I do have my Sphere on a smart plan, but I was gonna ask you something quickly.
Sure.
You said the A buyers, talking to them every day, the B buyers and sellers, talking every week or every other week, and a drip campaign, and the C 36 touch plan, talking every month and sending things in between, correct?
Yeah, roughly. That's kind of a gauge you're gonna have to make when you talk to someone. You can even ask them, how often do you want me to reach out to you? And what is the best way? Do you prefer text, phone call, email? Because everyone's different, you know? So I always ask, yes, what's the best way to contact you? What's the best way to communicate? And then how often should I communicate with you?
One of the times of the day.
And the times during the day, exactly. Yep. And then be like, oh, Fridays at 3 o'clock are perfect for me. Great. I'll call you Friday at 3. Great question, Elizabeth. So now we're going to talk about qualifying sellers. It's very similar to qualifying buyers, just different questions, right? So there's a pre-listing questionnaire, right? I don't know if you use one, Casey. I kind of do. I mean, it's kind of routine at this point, but I have a pre-listing packet that I send out to my clients that they essentially fill out for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do more of the description questionnaire, things like that, sent over their way. These are very important because sometimes sellers might intentionally not give some information to you, and that can really torpedo the deal at the end.
Yes. So let me clarify the pre-listing packet that I send out. I don't ask them like questions that I know where you're going with this. It's more like, how long have you lived in the home? What are your favorite things? What are the features? What are, blah, blah, blah. Because I want to get them excited about the process of selling.
True.
And then I'm also preemptively closing them because I'm asking them to bring a copy of their mortgage payoff, a copy of their tax bill, and a copy of their keys. Because I want them to be ready to just sign and hand those keys over to me before I leave, right? When I'm in the at the listing presentation itself, I'll ask them, hey, thanks for reading through my pre-listing package. Do you have any questions at this point? And that's usually, oh yeah, on this page, blah, 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 or whatever. Or no, we don't have any questions. Then I'll just jump right into, I'll start asking questions like, hey, so I looked through your thing, you lived here this long. Tell me a little bit about where you're going. Like what's the reason why we're moving here, right?
Mhm.
Oh, we're moving out of state, blah, blah, blah. Oh, great. Do you have an agent there? This is an opportunity for a referral, right? So let's say they're moving to San Francisco. Great. Do you have an agent there already? Oh no, we don't have one. Well, I can help you out with that too, right? But then it's really asking questions to get to their motivation and their timeline, because that's really what's probably the most important things to the seller. Why are they moving and when do they need to be there? And so you're going to start asking these questions, right? So, okay, so you're moving to San Francisco. Great. What does that timeline look for you? Do you need to be there by a certain date, or you're just going to move there as soon as you sell this place? And then they'll answer you, oh, I start a new job in October 15th. Great. So what you're telling me is, it's August, what is it, August 19th today? Um, we've got a couple of months to get this house on the market, marketed, sold, closed, so you can get to San Francisco in time. Is that correct? Right? So you're just asking questions to find out their motivation, right? And the reason why they're doing something. Next question is everybody here present that needs to be on the purchase and sales agreement? Do you need authorization from anybody else? To Casey's point, if you don't ask that question, it could be a divorce situation, it could be a probate situation. It could be the person who's meeting you is not even the owner of that house, right? That would be rare, but I'm sure it could happen. But you want to make sure you're working with the person who's authorized to sell that house, right?
Mhm.
And so you're just going to want to ask a whole bunch of that questions like, um, did you take out any other mortgages? Are there any other obligations? If we were to list the house tomorrow and put it on the market, are you ready to go? That sort of thing. So you just want to ask them all of these questions to qualify them. If you're at the pre-listing, it's less of a pre-qualified to sell. It's more of a let's qualify the game plan to get you where you need to be. Okay. What other questions would you ask Casey during a listing presentation?
Leaning on what you were saying, I like to, I agree, build up their excitement on it. Hey, for the next owner, what are some of the highlights they should expect in this house? Oh, layout's great for, all the holidays and everything like that. We have all this space and room. One thing I like to send out as well when you're sending that like pre-questionnaire for them to fill out prior to the exact appointment. And I took it from an agent in our office. They send a checklist to them as well to include, get your home ready for the market. And
Yes.
what he finds is a ton of power in that checklist because he knows, okay, sent this to him 2 days ago. I'm heading over there on Saturday to meet with them. They walk in, and all of a sudden, you see that checklist like intentionally put out there showing, hey, I've been doing it. I did a good job, right? Good job, me.
Yeah.
Good job. And so they're already ahead of it. So they're already getting themselves ready to get this home to sell. Once you see that, you're like, all right, I know I have a motivated seller right now. Not just someone who's like, we'll see how it is. I haven't cleared out the 6 junk rooms I have. I'm secretly a hoarder. And so the like little steps like that where you can kind of just say, hey, fill this out. And I wanted to supply with you too a nice checklist, just get the home prepared for the market as well. You don't have to get anything done yet. It's just a good thing to have in mind. So I think that can go a long way.
Yep, I agree. I have that in mind, and I also have like a self-assessment for their home too. Like I have them rank their curb appeal, their landscaping, that sort of thing, compared to other houses in the neighborhood. Because once we start talking about price, I'm gonna go back to that comparison,
Mhm.
right?
100%.
It, yeah, to your point, when I
That's
see them,
good.
what's that?
Have them rank it themselves. That's
Yes.
good.
Yes. Because you want to get them to meet you where you think their number is. A lot of times they don't
What
even know what it is, other than the
what do you
zestimate.
do if you disagree? Like a lot of times I find people value their, they have emotional connection and they value what they have more than maybe an outsider would. So how do you get them to come more to the middle if they're off?
Yep, that's very common. And so you have to move them from emotion to logic, right? And so, yes, I'm a D, and my background is I'm an engineer, electrical engineer. So I'm very data driven. So when I go to a listing appointment, I bring comps and I bring spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff to show the data and the trends. So it's in black and white, meaning I do like city, neighborhood, and then their street or their kind of like real tight radius. And I'll show them the trends on average days on market, price points, recent solds, blah, 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 all that stuff. And we just start going through it. And then I'll go back to that ranking sheet and say, hey, that house on Elm Street that sold for this, how would you compare your house to that one? You know? And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. Our house is in better condition, but whatever, and then they do kind of self-realize after a while that the numbers are the numbers, right? And what I always say is, I'm not telling you the price, the market is telling you the price. I'm just showing you what other buyers are willing to pay for a house like yours in this neighborhood.
One thing I had found too, especially in the last year, which we kind of touched upon earlier after the NAR commission change and everything, I felt like last fall people were going into it, going to a listing appointment and trying to fight to get the other side's commission for the buyer's side. They're saying, "Oh, they're not willing to pay." It's one of those ones there. Is it worth the fight? Do you want to lose this client of yours over paying the other side? Like, oh, I don't want to pay the other side if I don't have to. And this is Massachusetts, because that's where I'm at. And so in Massachusetts, the seller will have the option. You can offer to pay a buyer's agent commission, and compensate them for it. And then if you agree to do that, you fill out another form. Or they say, no, I don't want to actively offer it. So if I went into a listing appointment and the seller's saying, I don't want to pay them, I'm not going to, butt heads with them and try and be the winner. Winning means I get their house sold and they get paid. That's the end winning, not this little argument with them and ruin my day over, something silly. In that moment, I feel it's best to educate them and use data and everything to base it off of. So with paying the other side here, you can tell them, okay, you don't have to actively pay them, but as offers come through, it's going to likely include a request for compensation. So what I want to do is, because in reality, you just care about what you're going to net on this property. You want to walk away with the most, right? If you have to pay them or not. So I'm going to deliver these all with a nice clean net sheet for you. So instead of just headbutting and being a ram and hitting each other, I'm going to be a matador. And instead of that, I'm going to just take their anger and put it in the direction of them getting the most money for their house.
Mm-hmm.
So keep things like that in mind when you're going there. You don't want to get into a fight or an argument with these people. You want to make sure that they feel confident in you when you leave there, and you gave them the best service for it.
Yeah. Yeah, net sheets, if you've not seen them or heard of them, that's another great tool to have in your toolbox. Because at the end of the day, most sellers, that's probably the most important thing to them is, what am I putting in my pocket when I walk away? And to Casey's point, there's no need to have that conversation up front because we don't know enough about what the offers are going to look like at that point and how they're going to be structured. As long as they're structured in a way that you net the same amount, it doesn't really matter. Right?
Exactly. And Diana's on fire in the chat, right? Just
All
like
right.
last night.
What's going on in the chat?
She's just saying they'll be happy to pay the agents involved on the way to the bank with their proceeds.
Exactly right.
They always care about the net, and in the end, it's not them signing a check to pay the other side. It's all in closing. So,
Yeah, and
net
that's
sheets are the best tool.
and that's the whole like thing that sellers don't understand. Without a buyer, there's no transaction. The buyer's paying for all of it. Right? Would you agree? No buyer, no transaction, no money. The seller's not paying anything. The buyer's paying it.
It's holding costs.
Exactly. Exactly right. So as far as like pre-qualifying sellers, I think what Casey had said earlier and what I do for the pre-listing is like, if I give them the pre-listing, I come in and they got the checklist out and they're an A. They're ready to go. If they're not done nothing, the house is cluttered, they're just there to kind of listen. I don't know yet if they're a C. They could be an A, but they could have just have been busy and didn't do it. So I'm just going to start to ask those questions again, like, why are you moving? What's the timeline look like? Is there a certain date you need to be out of here? And then they may not realize the transaction timeline. They could be like, same answer as earlier. Oh, I need to be somewhere by October 15th. Oh, really? Okay. Let me walk you through how a transaction goes and what that timeline looks like. If we back out, 30 days, let's say 2 weeks to 3 weeks for a listing and offers and all that stuff, and then 30 to 45 days to go through the financing process. We're talking, 60 days more or less, maybe a little bit more. So if you back out October 15th, we're here. Like we got to get going like today.
I'm taking my phone out to take pictures right now.
Yeah, exactly. So the more questions you ask, the more you're going to realize where they are in that timeline. Okay. And similarly, like let's say they're not ready, then it's like, okay, let's figure out what it is you need again to go from that 1 to 10. What do we need to do to get you to sell, right? What does that look like? Some people may need to do maintenance. Some people may be like, hey, I know my septic isn't doing well, so I'm gonna get that replaced. Once that's done, then I'll be ready to go. Could be any number of things. And that's where you're like, all right, so that's about 2 months out. So I'm just gonna stay in touch with them for the next couple of months. And hey, you need to get a septic system. I have 3 or 4 people I can recommend to you. Let me get those numbers for you and get them over to you, right? Maybe they need painting, maybe they need maintenance. It's a great idea for you as an agent to start building your team, right? So I got an electrician, I got a plumber, I got a roofer, I got a whatever, right? So that way, when you're at that listing appointment and they have a need, you've got a solution for them. Make sense? Okay. Awesome. I'm a seller person. I'm more of a listing agent. Um, I don't know that we have time to role play. Now we're running up against time here, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So any ahas on the seller side? It's similar questions, but in a different way, right? It's still urgency, right? So what is your urgency? Buyers and sellers have something, right? They're either ready to go or they're not ready to go. If they're ready to go, great. If they're not ready to go, let's figure out what it is that will make them ready to go. And then obviously the consultation questions when you're with a buyer versus a listing are just very different, right? The listing, you're more asking about the property and the history and the motivation. Buyers, it's like more of, what's your pre-qualification look like? What are your wants? What are your needs? Okay.
I really liked the idea of the like the to-do checklist to getting the home ready for sale, because that'll be a huge indicator once you get there for the meeting of how ready are they really, how quickly are they really looking to move.
Yep.
And even if they didn't fill it out, it's great for them to have anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not sure what your agent calls his or her page in there. I call it a photo ready checklist. So that way,
I like
hey,
it.
you want to get ready for photos, here's the checklist, you know? And I reuse that same checklist for the open house readiness. I just move a few
Mhm.
things around, change the title, because it's honestly almost the same.
And sometimes on paper on a checklist, it's nicer to say it on there. Remove your, ugly pictures of your family and get the clutter out of the way than you saying it to them in person.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Any other ahas in that section?
John, I have a question.
Yeah.
For example, if the seller, they want to sell the house and they don't know where to go when they sell the house, what suggestion usually come with? If it's going to sell quick, it's like we don't have no place to go.
Yeah. So you're talking about seller, they're worried about where they're going next.
Mhm.
Oh man, I love this one. So that's a great opportunity to find now you got both sides, right? Now you're selling and you're gonna help them buy something. So it's like, all right, let's talk about where you're going, right? And then they're gonna want to go somewhere and they're gonna want something. So you just have to find out what that is. Most people are just gonna buy another house. Most of them don't go into leasing unless there's some situation going on. But typically they're gonna want to buy something somewhere.
Yeah, but the problem is they check in other houses and it's like, Svetlana, they're so ugly. And it's
Oh, you're saying the inventory? Like there's not inventory? Oh,
the
yeah.
seller check already. It's like it's too expensive, interest rate high, and all the houses need to fix it again. So
Oh, so now you're giving me objections. Okay. Right. So if a seller were to say that to me, okay, um, let's do this. We've got a couple of options, right? First of all, 6 months from, let's say a year from now, if you're still in this house, how are you going to feel?
okay,
You're okay?
I don't know if they feel okay, but it's like we're gonna stay. That's what they say.
Then they're not motivated.
Nah, I
Yeah.
guess not.
You know what I mean? So if they say, oh, a year from now, if I'm still here, I'm okay with it, then they're a C. They're not motivated, right? But if they say, oh my God, I don't want to be here next year, right? Okay, well, let's talk about where you want to be. And then the inventory issue, yeah, we do have a lack of inventory. However, you hold leverage because you own this house currently. So we can go shopping while this is on the market and find you something else. And most buyers are patient enough in this market that they'll give you a little bit of time to go find something. And you get a purchase anything. We wrote in a contingency that this sale was contingent on you finding suitable housing, so we can just rewind the deal and back out. You will not be homeless. And then the third option would be, I have lenders that have programs. One of them is called Cash to Keys, where they'll buy your house from you today, and now you're a cash buyer, and you got 6 months to list your house and get it sold.
Okay, I remember about this program.
Is it MEP?
Sorry,
Is that MEP mortgage?
who is it? No, no.
Any Mac, something like that.
Amen. The one in our office is a similar thing going on.
I mean, it's a great
It
solution
is.
to a problem.
Solid backup plan.
Yeah, solid backup plan. So yeah, I would just talk about that. And the first question is the most important one. Like, hey, let's fast forward 6 months to a year from now. If you're still in this home, is that okay with you? And if they say yeah, then okay, then they're not motivated. They're not as motivated as you think they are. But if they're like, hell no, all right, that's a different response. Let's dig into that.
Sounds like okay for now. But even the house fall apart already. If they're gonna sell, it's like need completely renovation of your house. It's a lot of work need to be done in your house. That's why it's just like if I'm gonna sell, it's not gonna be so much money.
She's right. She's right. And if that's the case and she's not okay with it, then she's not ready to sell.
Mm.
Also, with that one, Svetlana, this is a really good opportunity to look in some objection handling script practice. to kind of go back and forth on these items in a more neutral environment. And also, maybe look at that exactly what to say in real estate. Read the book, listen to the audio book. He narrates it himself. So it's a good way of just spinning it to kind of get more questions out of them and see what they really want. Because, if they're not finding anything nicer in their current house and they want to stay there, you already have your answer kind of. If they don't want to put the work into renovating the ugly houses in the town they want to be in, do you really want to be here? Or do you just want to find that one house that's perfect, that's going to go above asking? So you want to get, really heavily on the question side so you can best help them.
Thank you, Cassie. Thank you, Sean. Exactly.
Yeah, I get the same ones. I tomorrow I'm doing what time is it? 10:30. Me and Ed.
All right, cool. So for the rest of you guys, the Exactly What to Say book also has a game that goes with it. Those role play cards. So it's got the objections, it's got the questions that you need to ask, and it's got some redirects in there. So it's really, if you got a PC or a TL that gets this stuff, doesn't have to be Phil Jones either. We're all good at objection handling in one way or the other. Find your PC, find your TL. Svetlana, you're in my market center. You can come see me anytime.
I will tomorrow.
And
Yeah.
we know this stuff. We practice it all. And we change.
Honestly, it's kind of fun.
It's fun. It's a blast. And the objections change, right? So, in this market, the objection is X, Y, and Z, right? 6 months from now, it could be A, B, and C objections, totally different because the market changes. So yeah, so you're going to run into sellers that have all sorts of different situations going on. And it's just a matter of figuring out how you can help them out. Like in your example of a rehab, hey, you know what? I have a contractor or a couple contractors I can introduce you to. It may be less than you're thinking about. All right. I think we are at the end, I believe. Yeah.
We are. We're moving. Yeah, it's moving towards the end for the kind of follow up.
Yep. So we're moving towards the end.
Yep.
So again, it all comes back to, asking the right questions at coming from, we heard that earlier, and really trying to understand what it is, what problem you're trying to solve for your, right? Time, money, speed, need, all that stuff needs to be figured out, and it's done through asking questions. And the objections that you're going to get back are going to be common, and you're going to get, if you practice role playing, you'll become a ninja. Like you'll see that objection coming a mile away, and you won't even think about the response. It's going to be natural. It'll just come right out. So,
and it'll prepare you for when people are trained in it, they use it on you. You now are aware of it and can kind of stop that.
Exactly. And you know what? I was horrible at role play when I first started. Horrible. But the only way to get better is to practice.
What were your mistakes?
You got it. Exactly.
What kind of mistakes have you had?
Oh gosh. So many.
Example.
I know my
Just
answer is I knew nothing.
Five examples.
5
please.
examples?
Yeah.
One time I tried to negotiate a listing, a for sale by owner via text. That was a bad idea because text is so open to interpretation, right? Another one was I got mad because my neighbor didn't use me after all the work I did, and I cut them off. And I should, because she ended up not listing with that person. I could have got the listing anyway.
Did you burn their house?
I did a lot
you didn't.
In his head.
Huh?
Burnt it down in your head.
Yeah. I did a lot of pre-work, and then I got mad in my head and I didn't talk to them anymore. But no, I didn't go to their house. But I shouldn't have. I should have just stayed with it instead of letting it go. I don't know. Can't think of any other big ones. I'm sure I've said stuff that I could have got a deal and I didn't because of what I said. Meaning I didn't ask the right questions, or, I didn't have the right response or something like that. But
Alright.
honestly, for the most part, if you don't know an answer, that's fine. We all don't know all of the answers. I mean, I still, as a PC, I have people coming to me all the time with scenarios I've never heard of before. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Let's figure this one out, And if you don't know the answer, it's absolutely fine to say, you know what, that's a great question. I don't know the answer right now, but I'm going to find the answer. I'm going to get back to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? All right. I guess we're good then. Almost on time. Anything else, Casey?
With this, I don't think so with that one there. I would just say, actually going off of what we're already talking about, where you're getting this information from your clients, you're keeping notes, just make sure when you're updating them on command, include those in there, these timelines, things like that, because it's going to just make your life easier when you do follow up with them. And you can always add to it, let it, grow in there as well.
Yep.
What was that? Just
I don't know. Yeah, so that's a good point. Keep your notes,
Yep.
at command, so that way next time you talk with them, you can just refresh your memory. All right, so my advice is, after this, talk to your TL, talk to your PC, see if they've got some sort of checklist or a timeline of a deal, so you can start building that into your presentation, or at least your paperwork. And then obviously the last one would be the role play. So practice those conversations with your PC, your TL, or even another agent in the office. There's quite a few that enjoy doing that. Or find a partner around here, someone in Ignite, even.
You can do it right on the phone.
Yeah.
Those cards that you have, what's the name of them?
The what?
The cards?
Oh,
I got you.
Yeah,
exactly what to say.
that's the name of them?
Yes, Phil Jones.
Bill Jones.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat for you guys.
Okay, great, awesome.
Perfect.
He also has a book, the same thing. If you do read the book, the real estate one, if you go through like Audible or anything for audiobooks, it's only about like 90 minutes long. Not very long. However, I do find the book to be more valuable because it's a really cool field guide in the back for helpful usage of it. But the audiobook does a really good job because he narrates it himself. And I'm sorry, everyone here, but I don't think any of us have as great and perfect of an English accent as this guy does. So I don't think we'll ever be at his level with it, but we can try our best. And it's good that he's reading it because he knows the right emphasis and everything like that to put on it. So it's a nice, easy, clean read for it as well. And he does a lot on social media too. So he's a good follow out there. Did Phil Jones also do a MREA podcast?
Yes.
He did. Okay.
Yep.
Actually, is that number one?
Thinking, yeah, you know what?
Let me double check that one.
I know I listened to it. He also has
I did too.
He also has a YouTube channel, so you can you can listen to him. He's been at several Keller Williams events, Family Reunion, Mega Camp. He's been with other brokerages too, but he's got some great videos.
Well, let's just connect this part here. For the MREA podcast, they put Gary Keller at the second episode and Phil Jones on the first episode.
There you go.
I think it might mean something, right?
There you go. There you go. The guy's amazing with communication. Just amazing. It changed my conversations completely after practicing.
Yep. You become a better question asker and listener afterwards too.
Yep.
And the nice part, even if you're like me and Sean here, we're both high D and I, this helps you kind of level down with the other people and get to their level so that way you can be the rocket to boost them into where it needs to be.
Yep. Yep. His premise is the person asking the questions is controlling the conversation.
Mm-hmm. And I truly believe it gives you more education on when other people who you'll start notice doing it to you all the time
Yes.
are doing it to you. And that gives you more power. Think of how much more negotiating power when you know this person's using word jujitsu on you and you now know how to get out of it.
Mhm.
So it's a lot better. And sometimes it's funny, you can stop it by just ruining their whole train of thought for it.
Yeah.
There's power in knowing the defense.
100%. So I read some of that book. I'm not completely all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed a lot of folks saying, are you open to something?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, huh, yeah, I know that tactic. So
Exactly.
No. Well,
Yeah.
here, Crystal, here's what happens next. How would you feel if every time I spoke to you, it was always some kind of line and hook made by a professional speaker? Would you feel good with that?
Right. Right. Well, on the scale of 1 to 10, that came from him.
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm. What would make it go from an 8 to a 10? All right. So anyway,
Yep.
so yeah, great person to study and listen to, because his tactics are very, I don't even want to say tactics, but his methodology is really solid and it works.
Mhm.
And it's very helpful because you do ask great questions and you get great information.
And he does a lot of work with Keller Williams too. So they had him at family reunion in February, then about what, April or May or something like that, he came in and it was the same class. It was in like a full day class, 2 days in a row. So you could take it twice if need be, if you and sign up. I think you had to pay for it, but it was awesome. He did it live with everyone. You could chat with them, you could talk with them, get the full answers. So it's very hands-on. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him back at like a family reunion or something like that, because everyone I talked to who saw his training for that one was just blown away.
It'll be on my growth plan next year to be certified trainer. And exactly what to say. Yeah.
You're following Jen's footsteps.
Yep. Yeah, I'm working on my KWU right now.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of scared what I do with that power.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys and ladies. I appreciate your time tonight. It was amazing. Thanks for the participation. Everyone had a great time, I assume.
Yeah.
Learned something tonight.
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you everyone for your participation as well. And always a great time. And reach out if you have any questions or anything. We're always here.
All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for your
you.
time.
Right?
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.